What's going on, everybody? This is Eric Tanona with the first episode of my new YouTube channel called Audio Angles. So, today we're actually going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is mixing drums. And not just any drums, but tight and fat and funky drums. As far as like when you would want to go for a tight and fat and funky sound, I would actually say that is a lot of the time, because that is really the basis for the drum sound that you'd want to use for an R&B song, for something funky, for something gospely, even pop music. If you're using a live drum kit, if you start with something that is clean and fat and crispy, with just good tone, and it's on the dry side, you can always go and add more reverbs. You can compress it more and squash it and get a more of a rock sound. You can really do almost anything if you have a nice, clean, tight, fat drum sound to begin with. So today, going to be showing you everything from how to EQ the individual tracks, when to use compression, reverbs, phase coherence between the tracks, and time alignment between the tracks. So let's get to it. All right, so the track that I'm going to be using as an example today is something that was recorded here that I did with a Detroit artist named Angela Davis. She was here recording a mini concert and video that I did as well, called Up Close and Personal. So this is a cover of Anita Baker's Angel, and I'm just going to show you what the track sounds like, at least the chorus, and let's check that out.
Things get tough, I can always turn to you. Yeah, you're my angel. Oh, angel. Ooh, you're my angel.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's just look at the overhead with everything bypassed. So what I'm looking for in an overhead, when I'm mixing, when I'm tracking drums too, is really something that's cymbal heavy, because really it's your only chance to get the cymbals. But, I'm still wanting to get like a good picture of the rest of the kit. So, when I'm mixing it, let's just see what I do first here. Let's open this Schoeps Omni channel. So the first thing I'm thinking about, I'm just adding some saturation just because a little bit more warmth is better. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to chop off everything below about 70 or 80 and add some low end, make that snare a little fatter. Maybe just add a little bit of high end to it too. This is actually adding a little bit more high end as well. You can see where the frequency points are. But so let's see, this isn't doing anything. And then let's add the compression on. And then this isn't doing anything either. These are just there when I automate something and I want to be able to bring the volume up and down. This is just an easy way to do it. Just throw a plug in at the end of the chain. Then you got your master volume where you can bring something up or down easily. But so here's the overhead with everything on it. Compressor's just doing a little bit. So after that, what I do is bring in the kick drum, or at least the first kick drum mic. And here is what that kick drum sounds like, just dry. Yeah. So, if it's recorded well, you're not going to necessarily have to gate it. You might, if you just want a really, really tight sound, but like there's not really any reason to gate this. There's not a whole lot of stuff going on in there that is going to be a problem. And when you don't have to gate, you really shouldn't, because sometimes that can just interfere with, like, the attack and the release of things. And so let's look at what I'm doing here. So True Iron, just adding a little bit of like transformer saturation. The Slate Virtual Mix Rack. This is something interesting that I do. It's just adding a little bit of this this mic modeling, actually, and then the Neve emulation for the virtual channel. So let's see what else after that. So then the Sheps, more saturation, chopping the bottom off the kick drum actually at 36. That's actually kind of high. Usually I have a little bit lower than that, but for something tight, yeah, it can be up that high, because then your bass will be providing the information below that, and even the bass, little extra bonus tip. Still, you probably want to chop the bottom off of that too, at least at 20 hertz, if not, maybe 25. Depending on what you're doing, maybe even higher. It's just what you don't want it to feel loose. You don't want it just to be all this just super, super low stuff, just like, slowing everything down. Let's see what else we're doing. Adding some high end right there, adding some upper mid range. Okay. So this high end, this is actually a shelf. So starting at 4,200 and then, boosting right at about 3,300 again, and cutting 224, adding at 104. So yeah, that's typical. You want to get the the attack, the crispiness of that, the beater hitting the beater head, and cut out just some of that, just that boxiness from it. Add some low end. You don't want to go too high with this. This up on 200 is probably going to be too high, depending on what you're doing. So let me play this, and the compression, just doing a little bit. Okay, so let's play this kick drum and just bring these things in like one at a time. And that. And this. And the Sheps. And this is just cutting a little bit more. Right at 126. Little compression. Let's start that over. That's louder, but it's just doing just a little bit, just taking just some of that looseness out. Okay, so here, this is now that we got like a good kick drum sound just by itself, the next thing you need to consider is like, how is that aligning phase wise with the overheads? So if we just listen to what this sounds like against the overheads. And we'll go here. And how I had it. So just a little bit fatter, right? But so then here is a little trick though. When you want something to be really tight, what you're going to do is you're going to take the kick drum, all your drums actually, and measure the distance between like where the kick drum starts and then where the overheads hear it. So it's that much. You can go up here, turn on samples, and that's 154 samples between the start of the kick drum mic and then where the kick drum actually sounds in the overheads. And then what you do your little time adjust thing here, this plugin, delay time adjuster. All right, turn this on. You set that to like 154, like that, and then it sounds right on with the overheads. So let's hear that difference. Here it is without it. And here it is with it. Yeah, that's actually not that big of a difference in this particular case. A lot of times that can make a huge difference. So like what you would want to do the procedure would be like, okay, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to bring up the sheps. I'm going to listen, you know. And what sounds better, like this or like that? Well, this sounds better, of course, right? So then you just say, well, what sounds better? Not time adjusted or time adjusted? So I went for time adjusted in this case. So then I also got a mic on the outside of the kick drum. Actually, both of these mics they're both on the outside of the kick drum. The kick in is actually it's kind of like just outside the sound hole, and then the kick out is about maybe that far away from the head, a little bit off center. And that just adds a little bit of oomph. So, you know, same type of stuff on this. And let's just play it here. Let me get this back to normal. So let me just play it here. And then here's with kick out. Just add just a little bit more roundness to it. You know, again, same type of treatment.
No one in the world, 365 days of the year.